We interrupt our regularly scheduled broadcast this week to give you something a little bit different here on homesteading. This is an idea I've thought about for a long time, and I think we're going to try it out this year and see what you think. So be sure to let us in the comments below know how you feel about it. This week we're going to do Gear of the Year. The things that make our homesteading life easier, the tools we rely on every day. We're going to go through 5 different categories over the length of this week, starting with just homesteading in general, each day giving you 5 different items that we love. We just want you to know what are the tools, the equipment, the things we use every day that actually make life easier on the homestead. So let's jump in. This week's first topic is going to be homesteading in general. What do we use? Gear of the Year. Before we dive in, I just want to point out this video is a premiere. We are testing this out, so if you're watching live with us, we're going to be here to answer your questions in the comments section. So go ahead, leave questions, and we can answer all your questions about the gear. Let's dive in. These 5 items will range in price. Some items will be cheaper products, some will be much more expensive products. The idea is if you're looking for a nice piece of equipment to upgrade your homestead with, maybe you're looking for a good gift for somebody you love, whatever the case, all these items that we're going to share with you over this week are tried and true, things we have used for at least this year. That's why we call it Gear of the Year. The items we've used within the last year that we really like. The stipulations for sharing a product with you are that A, we have actually used it for a long enough amount of time to trust giving you our thumbs up on the product, and B, this product has to make our homesteading life within that topic easier, happier. Just, you know, we rely on our tools here on the homestead, and we find sometimes you waste money on just garbage, and I hate to see our audience waste money on garbage, so we're going to share with you the best of the best here. So for the next 5 days, that's all we're going to do here on Homesteady. Let's dive into the topic of homesteading in general. So 5 items that you could purchase this month. You could order them off of Amazon or wherever your Tractor Supply, and they will make your homesteading life easier. So what's the first one? Item number 1 for Gear of the Year is my Leatherman knife. And not just any Leatherman knife. Every day that I'm out here doing work on the homestead, I actually have a couple different Leatherman knives. The one that I keep in my pocket when I'm actually working on the homestead doing farm work is the Leatherman Serge. If I'm headed out to town, I might grab a smaller, slimmer profile knife. You know, just every day driving around or upstairs in my office, I don't need the Serge. The Serge is a very big knife. It takes up a lot of space in your pocket. But if I'm doing homestead work, if I'm actually in the barn, this is the knife that I reach for. It is such a big, clunky knife because it has so many useful tools in it. For starters, you have just your general knife blade, which is good for everything from cutting open bags of shavings to cutting the throat of a chicken that you have to humanely kill because there's something wrong with it. It covers all your homesteading needs. That knife comes very, very sharp, and it's very strong, good knife. The next thing you'll find is a serrated blade on the Leatherman Serge. I try not to use the serrated blade too much because they're harder to sharpen, but it's there. The Serge has a nice pair of scissors. One of the nicest features of the Serge is its really heavy duty, nice saw. That saw blade can cut through wood, it can cut through bone, it can cut through anything you need it to cut through. With hunting, I use this a lot, as you can tell. There is a pair of pliers in the Serge. There is a screwdriver with changeable heads. Everything you need in this giant tool. I use the pliers all the time when doing fencing jobs, you know, twisting twisty ties and cutting wires and cords. The Leatherman Serge is an awesome homesteading knife, and I can highly recommend it to any of you who actually have a farm and want to have every tool you could possibly need at your side. It can't do everything, but it's pretty darn close. That's the first of the gear. What's item number 2? Can you show some leg?
Me, a vital part of enjoying homesteading in the winter is being comfortable and warm. I've been really pleased with my Muck Boots. For the past year now I've had them. I got them before winter last, and I got the warmest kind, and I have to say my feet are never cold outside now, and I like that. They're waterproof and they're insulated, so my feet stay dry and my feet stay warm. Now they do only come in whole sizes, so it's something that may be good to go and try on before you order a pair.
I also love Muck Boots. I have a really hard time finding a boot that I can get on easily. I have a big funny shaped foot. The Muck Boot is one of the only boots that I can slip my foot into and out of really easily without getting that bone saw on my knife out. One of the downsides I find to the Mucks, they are waterproof, they are durable. However, the very top of them, I use them a lot in hunting, and sometimes I'm out in the field going through thorns, thick brush, and I have poked a hole in one of my Muck Boots.
One?
Well, the only one that has an actual permeable hole is this right here. So I do have a hole. I've had these boots over a year now, and that hole happened probably a month or two ago. So now this boot is no longer very waterproof. It is up to that point. If you are doing really heavy duty, thick work in thick brush, these Wetland Edition might not be the way to go. You might want to get something that's a solid rubber all the way up. But for regular homesteading work, if you're not out in the brush like I was for that, you should be just fine. There are Muck Boots that have a hard top all the way to the top. I don't know if those would be as easy to get into as our Wetlands. Our Wetlands are a nice combination of easy to get into, warm, waterproof, and I also use them a lot for hunting. They're real good for that too.
The first, 5 years we were homesteading, we were kind of limping along with an old, one wheel, a wheelbarrow that Austin had gotten. And it was a pain in the butt. The tire was going flat constantly, and then the bottom of it started rusting away. So I told Austin we needed a new wheelbarrow. He got one. It was the same one that we had just thrown away. The exact same one from like Agway or something. And he brought it home. And I was like, oh, okay. I don't want this wheelbarrow. So I took it back. I actually took it back that day. Returned it for a full refund. And I went online for an exhaustive search of a good wheelbarrow that would last. Austin bought that wheelbarrow and he said, it'll fall apart in a year, but whatever, that's the only option we have. And I thought, no, there has to be something better. So, through all my reviews, I figured out that this Rubbermaid, two-wheeled, made all of plastic, has been, for most people, very durable and easy to use. I would agree. What do you think? Easy to use? Yeah. It's got two tires so the kids can use it, right? It doesn't tip over.
The other one was impossible for me to push.
Yeah.
It was like whoa, 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 back and forth, whoa, whoa.
So far we've had it 2 years now. No issues with flat tires, no issues with anything coming off, coming loose. Yep, that was one of my best investments here. We drove like an hour to find it too, because none of the stores around us had it. It was at an Ace Hardware.
If you've ever messed with the hardware store wheelbarrows, then you know the tires go flat every season and you have to change them and it's a big ordeal. These have a small cotter pin that you can pull the wheel right off. They're more like a bicycle wheel. And while they are easier to change, we've owned this thing since before we moved back at Squash Hollow Farm. We've never once had a flat issue. And the dual wheels are really nice for the kids. It's easy to push. We can load the, they're lightweight. Oh, good. There we go. Durable, awesome. Good job, Kay. You found the best wheelbarrow that exists. So I can admit, yeah, this one's way better.
For the past, since we got a cow, we've been using the step-in posts with the electric twine or ribbon, and it's worked great for the cows. Honestly, they respect the electric fence a lot, so we haven't had anybody get out of it yet. And it's very easy to install, which means for us being new to this farm has been really great to install our fences, temporarily to figure out where we want them. It's the easiest to set up, it's the easiest to move, and it's very inexpensive for what you get. And it works great 3 seasons out of the year. For wintertime, it's not as effective because the snow load, especially in areas like this, can cause it to droop and fall, so then it doesn't work at all. But in the wintertime, we have her off the pasture anyways in a sacrifice pen so she doesn't rip up the pasture. This has been a great investment for us, the Gallagher fencing.
We have tried the electric netting, we have tried smart fencing systems, all kinds of different stuff when it comes to the electric. We find this generally to work the best for our animals. It would work for goats, but you would need to put up more strands. Back at Squash Hollow, we had a garden that we needed to keep goats out of, and we did a 4-strand fence for them. This twine would not work for chickens. It will keep them out of an area that they don't really feel like going into, but it would not keep them in. So you would need to use netting for the chickens. But if you have larger livestock and a very semi-permanent setup on your farm like we do, if you're trying to do rotational grazing, or even just trying to figure out what you were going to do permanent later, this is a great way to get started. And we'll put a link below to all the pieces that would build you a really nice starter kit. So the posts, the twine, the charger, the reels, everything you would need to get started, link below.
Invest in good quality hoses. I'm telling you this from a place of experience. We spent so much money on hoses that only lasted 1 season, and it was really frustrating.
And nothing is more important than keeping water to your plants and animals. So if it's the most important thing on the homestead, yeah, quality. There's 2 different ways you can go with your hoses. Maximum durability.
Or maximum, I suppose you could call it, usability. So these we've just started using this year because my mom had them in the barn. And for the kids, they've been really nice because they're very lightweight. So they can drag them wherever they need to. And they worked really good for the spring and the summer and the fall. Winter, we're running into the problem, we hoped that they would drain so nothing in them would freeze, but we are getting frozen chunks of ice in them, so we've got a little kind of hack we're working on to figure out if we can keep them hooked up without having to take them off of the hydrant every time and drain them. Because with the regular hose, that's what you have to do. If you have it hooked up to a hydrant, if you don't want it to freeze, you unhook it, you drain it so you can use it the next day. It's a pain. We're working on these. We'll see if they last the winter. I'm not sure they will.
But they were awesome for the other 3 seasons.
I was going to say that.
I thought they were super, like, when I saw
Gimmicky.
it was cheesy, I thought, oh man, that's gonna break in 10 minutes, and it didn't, and it's been great.
Yeah, and the kids really put them through the ringer, you know, closing them on doors and stuff. But they've lasted so far. Pocket hose.
This guy is the most durable hose you will find. I think it's called the Technor Apex hose. It is big and red. There it is, Technor Apex Company. It is heavy duty. You can run over with a car or a machine. You can twist it and bend it. It doesn't kink. It has these heavy duty solid connectors. The only one I've ever broke, I broke because I mistakenly thought it was 2 pieces, and anyway, I broke it myself. But I've never had one break from normal use. Stupidity, I broke it myself.
It's not as easy for the kids to use, but it is nice for something like running a permanent, semi-permanent cow water line to the trough for the spring and summer and fall. Very durable. If it gets stepped on, ran over with the mower, it's okay. It hasn't broken it.
I don't know if run over by a working,
I don't mean like
swinging
the
blade
actual,
mower.
I mean I drove over it,
Yeah.
and it didn't break.
All right. There it is, 5 items that will make your homesteading life so much easier. Those 5 items pretty much could go on any homestead, no matter what you're doing, whether it's fencing in animals, fencing out animals, wheelbarrowing dirt for your garden or poop from your animals, the Leatherman, I mean, all that stuff could make almost every homesteader's life better. We'll have links below for everything. Of course, if you're going to shop through our Amazon links, we'll get a small percentage for sending you there, but it won't cost you a penny extra. And some of the items will not be Amazon links if Amazon doesn't sell the item, but that's okay. We just wanted to make sure you knew the best of the best gear that we've used this year. All those items we've used and can definitely put our thumbs up to when applied in the ways we have used them. Remember, we'd like to know what other categories would you like covered this this gear week. If you have a category that maybe we haven't thought of that could really be helpful, comment below. If other people comment it enough, maybe we will adapt our plans and cover a different topic. Some of the topics we had in mind for this week were hunting, family milk cow, chickens, homesteading with kids, vlogging. Those are just some of our ideas, but be sure to add ideas below. And all the shopping that you do, whether it's this upcoming couple of weeks or just in general, if you shop through our link at www.amsteady.com, just type that in your URL bar. It will forward you to Amazon. It will help support this show. It's a huge help to us being able to make these videos every day. We thank you so much. And if you're in the UK, Australia, or Canada, if you go to our website, thisishomesteady.com, click Amsteady in the menu, there a page will come up where you can click on your own country and it will send you to the correct one. It's a couple extra steps, but if you really like our show, we really appreciate those of you who are doing that. We're gonna shut this one down. We'll see you in another video tomorrow for Gear of the Year, and stay tuned because we've got some really cool items to show you the rest of this week. If you like this idea, Gear of the Year, be sure to leave a comment below letting us know what topics you would like to see covered this week. And don't forget, if you do any of your shopping through www.amsteady.com, it'll bring you straight to Amazon, helping to support this show while not costing you a penny extra. You can click on this link right here to do that.